Hi everybody, welcome to another episode of In the Field with Sarge. As you can tell, we're in Garrison. We're going to be doing a little outdoor cooking now in preparation for next year's camping trip, or hunting expedition I should say. This is a recipe that my good buddy Brock has, and we're going to incorporate that into our menu planning while we're out there. So, with any further ado, we're going to switch over to Brock here, who's right now prepping everything that's needed to make this meal, and we're going to cook it on an open fire. All right, so we're starting a little bit of a hardwood fire there, and we'll get that going, and then we're going to see how our Dutch oven is going to work. And this is basically all experimentation to see if it's doable out in the field, and I'm sure it is. It's just a matter of how many extra steps or extra equipment do we have to bring and all of that. The weight of a Dutch oven, you know, is kind of heavy too, but you know, hey, it's well worth it. I've had this before and it is totally delicious. Alright, so there we have Mr. Brock. Right now he's prepping some vegetables, it looks like, some potatoes. So, Mr. Brock, why don't you tell us what this recipe is called?
It's called Goop in a Pan.
Goop in a Pan, and it's an amazing name. Okay, and tell us about the recipe. Was it in your family? Was this
something my mom came up one day. It was just not she didn't have the motivation to cook, I guess is the easiest way to put it, and threw a bunch of stuff together and made goop in a pan.
Ah, okay. So it's kind of like, almost like a hash, maybe?
Yeah.
Excellent. All right, so right now we're peeling some potatoes. And how many potatoes would you use for this recipe?
For about a family of 4, you want about 5 to 6, and then for a good portion, and then if you want seconds, you need to probably do more, but it takes 2 bell peppers, a whole onion, and some sausage, and another full length of sausage.
Okay. And what about seasonings? What do we use for seasoning?
Garlic powder, onion powder, salt, pepper, and you season it to the way you want it, and you go from there. So
very minimal when it comes to seasoning.
Yeah.
Now, for camping, out here we're testing, of course, we're going to see how we can do this in a number 12 crock pot. Not crock pot, Dutch oven, correction. So we're going to try that on an open fire, see how that goes. And then we'll go from there. So you're peeling, and then I take it you're going to dice these?
Yep.
And how big do you think we should dice them in? About 1/2 inch pieces, 1/4 inch?
1/4 inch or 1/2 inch, whatever you prefer to have them diced into.
Excellent. Excellent. All right, so we'll let Brock here get everything prepped and ready, and we'll check in on him periodically. And then we'll switch over here. I don't know if you can see Mr. Cooper. And of course, there's our hero dog, relaxing in the glow of his hero-dom. Ben! Ben, what are you doing, buddy? What are you doing? Say hi. Alright, so while we wait for the coal bed to get where we want it, later on Brock will be moving the coals off to the side before we set the Dutch oven in there. We're not going to set the Dutch oven on the coals per se, we're going to have it around it. That way it'll convect heat through the sides of the Dutch oven instead of up through the bottom, and that'll help reduce some of the burning. So once we get that all set up, we'll show you how that goes. Now, I guess we could prep this stuff at home before we take it out camping and put it in Ziploc bags.
Yeah, I could do that.
But I guess that would take away from a lot of the flavor, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
The hardest part is prepping it. Other than that, it's a quick, easy meal.
Okay. And if we can get it to work in a 12-inch Dutch oven, I think it'll be spectacular. So from what I understand, there's so many different variations that you can do of this. So I still kind of chuckle when you say it was discovered when your mom really didn't feel like cooking, but it seems like a lot of elaborate flavor combinations were put together here, and I think it's a winner so far.
Yeah. After she done it, we kept on having it afterwards because that's what we kind of wanted. It was really good.
And it kind of became like a family comfort food.
Yep.
That's awesome. Well, I hope we can recreate it over an open fire, because I would love to have this out in the field. Now, all of you that are watching, I'm sure you can see that a lot of this can be pre-prepped to save you time out in the field, or if you like the enjoyment of prepping food with the rest of your friends and family, then here's a great way to do it. And that's just normal everyday smoked sausage.
Or a kielbasa.
Or kielbasa. Okay.
Whatever works.
You know, it's funny, you took the sausage out of the package, you know. Both dogs didn't react at all while you cut up the peppers and the onions or any of that.
But they reacted over the bacon and the sausage. And the
you could tell.
We smell that. Where's it at?
Okay, and here's the secret ingredient, which is 1 pound of bacon. Now, Brock, how are we going to cook the bacon? Are we dicing it up, or are we just going to fry it in strips? How does that prepare?
Actually, you can play around with it. I plan on putting it in the Dutch oven in strips and browning it, and then getting it all crispy, and then breaking it up from there.
I got you.
Like bacon bits.
I got you. Perfect. All right, well, we'll get ready for that. All right, so we've got the Dutch oven in. Right now it's heating up. We're going to put some bacon in there. We're going to cook the bacon first, and we'll use the bacon grease and maybe a little bit of oil if we need it to further go from there. Alright, so in goes the bacon. Those coals are a little hot for what we're doing, but just, you know, to show on the more extreme end.
No, I just do one fire, and that's Texas part for health.
Yeah, Brock is our resident pyromaniac. He can build a fire like nobody else can. You can hear that bacon sizzling. Now, what kind of bacon is that, Brock?
That was hickory thick smoked center cut bacon.
Center cut, so it's a little bit more on the fatty side, yeah, which gives us the oil that we need. Bacon. Oh yeah, that's doing exactly what we want it to do. So we don't need any vegetable oil for this. We can basically fry the potatoes and bake the whole thing in bacon grease. Oh yeah. Now as Brock pulled... Oh, I'm sorry?
No, the wind shifted.
Oh. Now, as the bacon cooks, you can hear a saw going. That's my neighbor across the street, Rich. He's actually cutting us up some more wood. He's a Navy vet. He's disabled as well. And yet, he's a feisty old bean, I tell you. Alright, so we're slow cooking the bacon. And you can see it does have its hot spots in there, but Brock is basically able to control how that gets fried up by where he puts it in the pan. And of course, when everything goes together, I do believe it cooks together as well. Okay. So here we have the bacon grease off the fire so he can blanch the potatoes a little bit. And he's getting ready to do his seasoning. The bacon is off the fire and it's good. Goop in a pan. Vigorous amount of pepper. I guess you do that to taste.
Yeah.
And we've got some onion powder, a vigorous amount of onion powder. Just going to mix that all in.
As you can see, potatoes are on.
Alright. And we're going to let them roast for a little bit. Alright, and the final ingredient is soft processed cheese, known as Velveeta, or to people of my generation, government cheese. It's just processed soft cheese, any cheese of your desire. I tell you though, this cheese is great for making cheese omelets or cheese toast or grilled cheese sandwiches, things like that, mac and cheese. It's a great cheese for those recipes. But it is government cheese, what we call it, and it's not bad. It's not gourmet cheese, but then again, it's great for cooking. So here we are. Brock just took the lid off the Dutch oven. He's stirring up the potatoes. And I just asked him a question earlier. I said, why don't we put some coals on the lid? And the response was, of course, we have to constantly open the lid to stir the potatoes as they roast. But we're not ready to start baking. And when we bake, we're going to put some coals on the top and get that to slow roast as well. So right now the potatoes are still cooking. They're looking good. It smells so wonderful. I wish you could smell it. Maybe one day they'll have smell-o-vision or something where you can smell what I'm smelling, because it is wonderful and making me very, very hungry. Okay, so with the coals down as low as we have them, right, we're going to put this on the top, and we're at about 280 degrees across the lid. Down the side we're a little bit hotter, but we're not convecting enough to make that lid super hot. So we're baking, I'd say, at around 350 degrees. So right now the potatoes are about 250 degrees. So we're slow roasting very, very nicely. Mr. Brock is an expert at this, and I am very, very impressed, and I think we'll be able to do this up top. But I do recommend that you prep everything first, because it is preparation intensive. Now, for a family all getting together and everybody cuts up something, it's a great little activity to do. But if it's just you and a couple of people, you know, you might want to just prep all this stuff ahead of time and then get it ready to go when you get out there. But this is coming along so nicely. Now, if you wanted to do this in the oven, I guess 350 would be a good temperature to do, Brock?
About 350, 375.
Around there? Okay. And these are coming along really, really nice. Alright, and here we are. The potatoes are done. Got a lot of good smoke going now. And the onions and peppers are going in. And what Brock does is, and this is so great, is he recycles the produce bags and uses them for storage bags. I mean, it's a great thing to do, why not? And they work great out in the field. Now here it comes with the sausage. Dropped a piece on the ground.
Yeah.
It's right. Can I get my finger in there? Right there. And we'll see which dog notices it first. Okay, now he's crumbling up the bacon. Oh, this smells so good. All that crumbled up bacon, oh, it smells so good. That is hot. I don't know how he does it. Well, he has a welder's glove on. Alright.
I mean, Velveeta and pasta, and we'll put coals on it and bake it.
From the man himself. I see. So the melted cheese going down in the potatoes and the smoked sausage makes the goop.
Yep.
Gotcha. Guess who found the piece of meat on the ground? Ben himself. I am so hungry. This food porn is driving me crazy. Go ahead. There it is. There's the other kielbasa or smoked sausage or whatever bangers you like across the pond. With the smokiness of everything, a smoked sausage goes great. Any kind of smoked sausage. Alright, so Brock's going to go ahead and cover it up. He's going to get the shovel, and I think he said 2 or 3 shovelfuls of this fine coal right on the lid. And those are at the end of their life, but it's still, they're still putting out some heat, so we'll be baking it now. And like we estimated, about 350, 375. If you have a heat gun or a thermometer, you can definitely check. Now the big thing is when you remove the lid, especially if you don't have a clamp, is to make sure that you don't dump any ashes in your food. And as you can see on the lower portion here, see all those ashes right there? Okay, so you have to be careful when you take the lid off. And if you have a small brush or something, you could get that off, and that way you don't have to worry about ashes getting in your food.
Everything.
Alright, let's see what the side of our jug says here. We're a little bit bouncing around about 380, 375. I see it go as high as 400 in spots. But right now we're right where we want to be. We have enough coals on the top to be baking that. And here in a few minutes when Brock lifts the lid just to take a look at it, we'll see how well it melted the cheese. And I have to say, this is the first time I've actually used the Dutch oven, and I keep calling it a crock pot because basically that's all I've ever used it for, because I didn't know how to, you know, put the coals on the top, how to cook from the sides and not the bottom, and when to cook from the bottom and all of that. And Brock was so gracious to give me a class on all of that. And this is great. I can't wait to come out and use my Dutch oven more out in the field. You know, I've used it to make a stew, but that was basically slow boiling, you know. And that's about it. But now I look forward to making cakes and biscuits and cobblers and, you know, food dishes and roasts and all of that. And, you know, like I said, Brock is a master of these things. It's just unbelievable what you can do. So now I'm going to go and get one of those clamps that you can clamp on that lid so I can take it off without having to worry about dropping anything. Alright, now without the special clip to remove the lid,
Probably another 15 to 20 minutes.
not ready yet?
Not ready yet.
Not ready yet. Still going about 375, 380.
It's a leaf blower.
What the hell?
Redneck engineering.
Ben's reaction to the redneck engineering. What do you think, Ben? As Cooper drinks all the water. Alright, so now we've got it off the coals with just the coals cooking on top. We're going to let it sit like that for a few minutes, get the coals off, and we should be just about done.
Yeah, I see we're pretty much done.
Look at that. Oh, and it smells so good with the onions in there and the bell peppers. Oh, you think it's done?
Yeah, it's done.
All right, well, let's get it plated up and eat.
All right, here it is, all done.
Wow, look at that. Let me zoom in. Look at that. Roasted potatoes with cheese and onions and bell peppers and sausage, and then a big smoked sausage link on the top. That is pure heaven. I wish you could smell this. So we're going to go ahead and get some up on a plate, and we'll show you how it looks there.
All plated up.
And that's it right there. And believe me, I can't wait to eat that. That is true food porn in its greatest. XXX food porn. Thank you, Mr. Brock. You taught me so much about the use of a Dutch oven. And I kind of like this one, but I think we're going to probably need a bigger one for our group when we do our
hunting or
our little hunting expedition this elk season. So that is wonderful. Thank you so much, Mr. Brock. I look forward to our interview with Ben. If you haven't seen our last video, go ahead and please check that out. Brock and I have been working really closely together with our camping and getting some skills worked on and testing and retesting and all of that. So if you like our content, go ahead, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe, hit that little bell, and you'll get those notifications. And of course, if you want to donate to the channel, there's a donate link in the description, and it'll be in the chat room right now, because this will be a premiere when I show it. This is awesome. Thank you again, Mr. Brock. And remember, everyone, love one another.